Hi everyone, welcome to the Creative Cove. My name is Michelle, and on this channel I like to show different ways of using up your hand-drawn items. I do quickie sketch videos, I do painting videos, mostly to apply to journaling of some kind, a junk journal or a regular journal, scrapbooking, card making, anything to do with paper really. And lately I've been working on these things called messy scraps. So I do tutorials on how to draw and how to assemble these type things. And they're called messy scraps because nothing is straight, and they're a great way to use up all kinds of different materials. So in this instance, for example, I've painted a bird on a piece of fabric and then sewn that fabric to more fabric. This one is a drawing on a piece of coffee dyed paper that I drew, and then I've sewn that to fabric with some scrap embellishments. And this one is a feather that I've sewn to paper and then to fabric. So the idea is just to really use up your repertoire of scraps. So one of the comments I had in those videos was how to apply them to the journal. So I thought I'd walk you through that today. I think we'll do the feather. And so I did one here where I've incorporated it into my journal. And maybe I'll zoom you in just for a second. And so here's the messy scrap here. As you can see, it's a drawing with fabric sewn to it and then more embellished fabric. And then I've sewn it in a way that creates a pocket on the side. So you can see, you can put your hand in there. It's a pretty deep pocket because the fabric's relatively flexible. And then I've sewn it to another piece where I have a pocket at the top where I can store some fun stuff. And I'm gonna do a video tutorial on how I make these at another day. But there's a big deep pocket as well. And so you can see it is just a big pocket that I've sewn. I'll zoom you out now. So I'm not right in your face. There you go. So it's just a pocket that I've sewn. But what's nice is I've used these messy scraps, and you can create a whack load of them, have them ready to apply to any journal. So I think we will do one today where I'm going to add it, maybe show you how to do a pocket. So I do use the sewing machine for this, but if you don't have a sewing machine, you can always use glue. I like the sewing machine because it does add a layer of more texture, which I'm all about these days. So I'm gonna figure out which way I want this to lay in the page. So I think I'm gonna do the pocket on this side so it's a little easier to access. And then you can sew, I mean, you don't even have to turn it into a pocket. You can just sew it straight to the page. You can glue it in as an embellishment, but I do like to, I like to make them useful. So I'm gonna just trim up so you see why it's a messy scrap. None of the edges are even. So I'm just gonna tidy that up a little bit. There we go. I need a piece of my coffee dyed paper. So again, using up more scraps. So we can put this on here like this. So we can do a triple pocket on this one. Sorry, a double pocket. So a pocket here and a pocket here. So what I like to do is I like to reinforce the edge, just so it has some bulk. So what I can do is I can fold it, and then I can even add a piece of trim to it if I want. So that's not long enough. Let's try something like this. No, that's too thick. Sorry, just reaching for my scrap fabrics here. Here's some pretty green. Let's introduce a tiny little subtlety color. And you don't have to. Again, it's whatever style you like. You might want to just leave it like this. But I think that would be kind of pretty to add a color. So I'm going to slide my machine in here and hope that I am, oops, on my scissors. Hope that I'm in camera angle here. You see me sewing? I'm gonna back you out just a little bit. Yeah. Problem is I only have a top angle camera, so it's a bit hard to see my sewing machine. There we go. Try that. But I'm just gonna throw this through here. See if I can line it up neatly. And I am messy, so a lot of the stuff I make ends up messy. That's just the way I like to work. So if you're a tidy person or you like things straight, just take more time at doing this sort of thing than I do. I work fast, which means I don't get things accurate, but I kind of like the messy look. I like the idea of things not being perfect. One, it takes a lot of stress off. If you're not concerned about things being lined up or perfect, you can relax a little bit more when it comes to, see, so it's not straight, but I still like it. All right, so I'm gonna move that aside for now. I'm gonna cut the end of this ribbon off. Still need that. Tidy up the top here. So I'm gonna sew, I think I'm gonna sew this whole thing down to my piece of paper. So I'm gonna sew around the edge here instead of gluing it. Just, I think it'll reinforce the pocket a little more. And I'm gonna use my 1-inch hole punch here just to create the indication of a pocket. So visually, because sometimes you go through these books and then you don't touch them for a little while and then you forget all the pockets and all the secret little places you've created. That's what I find anyways. So I'm gonna use the zigzag again, just because I like the texture of that stitch. The more I'm gonna reinforce by sewing backwards there, the more texture you can incorporate, I find the more interesting the book looks. It just adds layers and layers of interest. And that's why I like incorporating different elements, like in this case, fabrics and paper and the feather. So this feather is off a hawk that I found in my backyard that had died. I found out that there are rules about feathers in some countries, like I think the States, for example, has some rules about what feathers you can keep and not keep. So you do want to bear that in mind. Certainly don't want to do anything illegal. But here, where I live, there isn't any issue on that. And this, like I said, this was a specimen I just found. So no harm, no birds were hurt for this video. So I'm just using my trusty little rubber stamp it has kind of illegible writing on it, and it's my go-to when I come to vintage up my book. I just like it. I got it off Amazon, tore it off the back of the wood, and so I don't have to use the full stamp. I can use just bits and pieces of the stamp. It's a bit more flexible when it comes off the wood backing. So now I'm just going to rub a little bit of this ink on here. I like to ink up my edges. So now you can sew this as well to the book. You can throw your book right into the machine. But for this, I think I'm just going to glue. So I think that works. Now, if you want to use a pretty heavy duty glue for a pocket, just simply because it is going to be opened up and manipulated and moved more around than if it didn't have a pocket. So you can see I'm quite messy. I'm just gonna smear that glue out a little bit. I'm gonna put it down where I want it, and then I'm just gonna press it down for a second and hold it and move that out of the way. We have a dark day today. It's very gloomy out, but it's March, so we still have quite a bit of snow, but I'm so looking forward to seeing little daffodil heads poke up and tulips come out. I'm so craving, I think that's why I'm using the green. I'm just craving spring so bad. I'm envious of those in Australia who are just finishing up their summers. I wish I had a house in Australia and a house in Canada, and I could just move from back and forth. Wouldn't that be the life? All right, so I'm just gonna clean up the glue that's oozed through, because like I said, I am messy. Just wanna make sure that's really well adhered. And then we'll show you. So there we have it. So you can throw this through the machine just to reinforce that stitch so that the pocket is a little bit more durable, because it can take a bit of a beating. But there's a pocket here. So we put a pocket picture in here. And another one in here. And there you go. So that's how you can use up the messy scraps, fabric messy scraps. And like, how fun is that? You have texture, the feather, paper, different textiles of fabrics, and you've created 2 pockets. So what a great way to incorporate, again, your messy scraps. So I hope that gave you some ideas on how to use them. I hope you look at the other videos on how to create these messy scraps. And thanks for joining me today. If you liked the video, please hit the subscribe button and the like button, and please leave me a comment on what you think. Have a great day, guys. Bye.